G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm of course going to be talking about the new prize pools that just got announced for all the cash cups this season. And if you've gone on Twitter, if you've gone to any of your favorite pro streams, you know they're not happy. Like really not happy. Like to the point where so many pros are threatening to and now planning to quit based on this prize pool unless the FNCS prize pool gets announced and it's considerably larger. If this is any sign to come, so many pros and just so many competitive players in general are going to be quitting competitive Fortnite. I feel like there's kind of been this feeling for a while now with pros just not really happy with the current state of things, but honestly, with the prize money where they were at getting lower and lower, I think most people assumed that it would take a bit of a jump up. This is the first season since Epic made the announcement that World Cup will not be happening this year. We will not be getting major LAN events. So I think a lot of people, myself included, thought that prize money would then be going into these online tournaments. But it just isn't. Wait until I break down some of the statistics of just how much less this prize pool currently is. Again, you know me, I don't want to make this all negative. At the end of today's video, I also want to talk about the format and the rules that got announced. So those of you guys who are playing the cash cups, I'll give you a bit of an indicator of how you should be playing the games, how you should be playing the tournaments to try to get your best chance to place as possible. Because you're going to have to be placing really high to get some of this prize money. So just looking at NA East, if we compare the first ever trio cash cup that we ever had in Fortnite, the total prize pool was $55,905. The new cash cup prize pool is $10,267. It is less than a fifth of what it was before. We have no contender cash cup. We have no console cash cups. That is the entire prize pool for the week right now for NA East is $10,267. Now, I came to this amount because I halved this. Obviously, once the LTMs get announced, they're going to have a prize pool as well. But if you look at just the purely competitive tournaments, if you look at just the cash cups, this isn't including creator cups. Right now, that is what NA East is getting. A little over $10,000 a week, where just one tournament of many back in trios when we used to have it was $55,905. You can see why the pros are so upset. And this isn't even the worst of it. NA East prize pool split has actually stayed relatively the same. If you look at my home region, OCE, it's really low. OCE's entire weekly prize pool right now for these tournaments is $1,350. If you look at the old daily trios cup, it used to be over double that every single day. $2,700 is what OCE used to walk away with in the daily trios cup. So they're getting less than half a week for every single tournament in that entire week, because there's only one, compared to what was a daily tournament that would often be followed up with other cash cups multiple times a week. Now, I've done the math on this and I really hope I'm correct. I've had a few people double, triple check it with me. The math checks out as far as I'm aware. If we go back to what a normal week looked like in cash cups last season, every single region combined was walking away with $291,900 USD. So that's almost $300,000 a week across every region. Right now across every region, it's $46,636. It is 16% of what the old prize pool was. I don't want this just to be all doom and gloom. I don't want this to all just be complaining. You've probably seen enough of that. And I know you guys like to come to my channel to try and get some positivity in it. And the one positive I have right now is that is not including FNCS and is not including these creator cups. So there is still hope. There is still time for a lot of money to be put into those to be quite exciting. Maybe all the prize money is going from this into FNCS. Maybe Epic's realizing like, hey, the cash cup should be for a little bit of fun. They shouldn't be as serious. Let's make FNCS the crowning jewel, and the prize money for that has not been announced. So I want to make it very clear, all those statistics I made is just comparing cash cups from the past and cash cups from last season to cash cups now. That doesn't include FNCS, and Epic has openly admitted that every second week is going to have an LTM tournament and we're going to have a lot of creator cups. So I just want to make sure that you understand that as well. I'm not trying to make the stats sound worse than what they are. I'm just saying right now, as the first announcement we have on prize pools, things are looking a lot less. Just ridiculously less, 16% total. So hopefully a bunch of that money goes into the Creator Cups and FNCS. I don't think the core competitive community is going to be very happy if all that money goes into LTMs. If they're putting that prize money up for Cash Cups and then next week we have Sniper Shootout and it has 10 times the prize pool, I don't think that's going to make things any better either. So we're going to have to wait and see. Now, what do the pros think about this? I'm sure you've seen a little bit, but I wanted to culminate a few of them. A lot of them have this same agreement that this isn't looking good for FNCS though. A lot of them are starting to think that this means that FNCS is going to have a pretty low prize pool as well, which I don't really know how to take that. I have no information. I don't really have anything to go off. Like I said, Epic might just be completely switching this one. They might be focusing more on FNCS now. They might just be dropping the prize pool. And people have been asking me when I made my tweets and when I was talking about it and breaking down these numbers, why is it getting so little? Why is it going down? I genuinely don't know. I think a lot of people, like myself included, when we saw there was no contender cash cup and when there was no platform cash cup, it wasn't getting split between console and PC, a lot of us assumed this prize money would be a lot higher because, again, I have to make this clear. To play in this tournament, you have to be champions, and if you're on console, you're versing PC right now. So you guys don't have, like, I don't just double all of this for console as well. It's everyone versing everyone at this point. So this is also scaring people even more that we might not be getting a console FNCS, because if the prize pool's going down this much for the one tournament that is console versus PC, are they really then going to split FNCS prize pool in half and give console and PC a good chunk? Or even if it is split in half, is it going to be splitting a small amount in half? A lot of people have attributed this potentially to all the issues with mobile. Obviously, mobile still hasn't been fixed. Free Fortnite still hasn't really come through. So a lot of people thinking that the loss of revenue on that is what's making Epic bring the prize pool down, but I just don't know. Again, Epic was clearly intending to do a World Cup 2021, but then obviously in the current situation with COVID or even a World Cup 2020, it just wasn't possible though. So a lot of people think if you had that amount of money to throw into that, why is it not going into these tournaments now? And again, I really wish I had answers, guys. I'm just presenting the facts. I'm just presenting the situation. I'm still going to be watching all of these tournaments live on my Twitch channel, again, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I'm going to try and have some fun with it. I know it's not all about the money, and a bunch of pro players are realizing this. They're switching to make content. So many of them have announced on Twitter they're going down the content route. I'm just scared that with this low of a prize pool, a lot of pros will quit, and it's not viable financially for a lot of people. And that's another topic I want to talk about. Fortnite pros, more than any other esport, they rely on these tournaments. They rely on this money. Fortnite is probably one of the, I don't want to say the worst esports, but it's the least funded esports when it comes to orgs and salaries. You look at Counter-Strike Go, you might be playing on a team and you might only win, $10,000, $20,000 in that one tournament every 6 months, which, isn't really enough to live off, but you're signed to, let's say, a big top tier team like 100 Thieves and they're paying you a massive salary. That's where the money comes from, where a lot of the Fortnite pros, they either aren't signed to orgs or the ones that are don't get as much money as other games. So you need to perform in these tournaments. That's how Fortnite's always been. Fortnite doesn't really collaborate with other orgs. It's not like, Rocket League where an org can pay to have a skin in the game or people can buy the skin for that org, which funds the tournaments. Fortnite has been very, very big about trying to make sure that orgs don't get too close to Fortnite, which has made players rely on this prize pool. So if you're not a pro and you might hear these big numbers, like $50,000, that's still so much. When you split that between every player in the region, it's going to make it really hard to survive. You have pros out there like Commandment saying that this current prize money isn't even enough to support their rent. If they win every cash cup in a month, that's still not enough money to cover their rent. Not all tournaments are about the money, and I get that. So let's try to finish off on a little bit of a positive. Let's focus on the one tournament that we do have at the moment. We have our trio cash cups and we have the format announced. And it's the exact same as FNCS. So if you've played at all during the Trios FNCS, if you played any recent Trios event, if you played in the Bragging Rights tournament, it's the exact same format. It's going to be 10 games, 3 hours, and it's 25 points for the Victory Royale and 1 point per elimination. So it's actually quite heavy on the placement end. And I know what you're going to think. That means you're going to want to play placement heavy. And yes, to an extent, especially if you're like more of an intermediate player and you're looking to get a good placement. But just know, with the prize money being being what it is now, being so diminished, and especially when the top money doesn't really start really far out from the top. In NA East, it's only top 25, for example. People are going to be keying pretty damn hard to get up into that top prize money to try to make it up there. So there's going to be a lot of really solid teams keying, but ultimately the way to play this out consistently is going to be for placement. So what that means is, I've talked about this in previous videos right now, you need to go a decent drop that's going to maybe verse one more team on spawn, a decent POI. Once you've got that, you really need to start hitting your rotates to dead side, trying to get to the side that has the least amount of players on it. So if you're going to fight, you fight over there, but you need to avoid the congested side and these top tier pro teams. If you notice a pro team in the kill feed and you can see where they are on the map, or you know from watching them where they are on the map, again, check out my previous videos where the pro teams drop, try to avoid any rotate path they will have, because right now, unfortunately for you, it is a placement heavy format, but I don't expect these games to be insanely stacked. I'm not expecting surge in these. Yes, they're Champions Division only, so they should have at least semi-decent players in them, and they might go to maybe surge warnings, but I don't think you're going to get active surge. So I'd be trying to stake out a decent POI that doesn't have as many pro teams at it, and then trying to play it a little bit safe during the mid game. If you identify a weaker team though, try to go for your eliminations, because if you want to get high up on the leaderboard in this tournament, you're going to need eliminations as well. So right now, some of the best drops on the map, and again, I'm going to start doing a whole bunch of pro team reviews, so if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I promise you they're coming, and with these tournaments, it's going to be a lot easier. You want to be dropping some of the best POIs. If you're strong fighters, you want to be looking at Misty, you want to be looking at Dirty, and you want to potentially be looking at Sweaty. But honestly, Misty and Dirty are the two strongest drops on the map right now, because they give you fish, but they give you gold. I'm going to make a whole video on this soon, but you need to start playing to gold. If you go to, for example, somewhere like Dirty or Misty, you have 2 to 3 NPCs, grab the quests, not just the bounties, do the quests, and your whole team walks out with upgraded shotguns, and you will be so much more dominant and consistent coming into these end games. So if you're good at fighting and you know how to play either of those POIs, that's going to be your place to go. Last thing I just wanted to quickly put in, just in case you didn't see, in case no one's talking about it, because obviously it's massively overshadowed about all this prize pool stuff. There are now hype cups running every single time at the same time as the cash cup. So if you're not Champions Division, or you just care a little bit more about playing in a more fun tournament with no prize pool and less sweaty players, you do have the hype cup. Make sure you look at that. It's on Fortnite Tracker, and it's also in the compete tab. You don't need to have any level of hype to enter. So if you're not Champs Division and you still want to play a tournament with friends, check it out. It's the same scoring format. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it wasn't on the more upbeat, positive side. It was kind of hard to cover this when obviously everyone was so negative about it, and I'm a little bit disappointed in the prize pool myself. Obviously not being a pro player, but still being invested in the comp scene, it doesn't affect me as much, but I really do hate to see other people and the community so down and so unexcited for an event. We have tournaments starting tomorrow, and I just genuinely think the whole community is a little bit depressed about it. So I'm going to be having fun. If you want to watch the tournament and enjoy it either way, check out my Twitch channel. I always enjoy the gameplay, prize pool regardless. So if you liked today's video, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you think the pros are overreacting? Am I overreacting, or do you agree that this is just a lot lower than you expected? If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean so much to me. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.